Here is just a small part of my childhood Lego collection. For a time period of about 10 years, every bit of allowances, birthday money, etc. went towards this. Oh, the sets were great, but when I was about 8, I got the most wonderful present. My mom brought home a tackle box filled with thousands of random Lego parts, donated by a friend's son who had, quote-unquote, outgrown his Lego collection. This random box inspired hours of creation, mostly in the form of castles and spaceships. As a teenager, I would eventually follow in the footsteps of the tackle box donor, growing out of Lego. Or, as fans of Lego put it, I entered my dark ages. Years later, when I emerged from this dark period, enlightened, Lego was still Lego, though it had gone through some interesting changes. Instruction manuals, in particular, were so much more detailed and easy to follow. Look, no parts lists here. There were so many more available parts and colors, and this fellow was everywhere. Design of Things 25, Lego Brick Separator. In preparation for this episode, I turned to the Lego subreddit to hear their thoughts about the brick separator, as there are few communities as passionate, positive, and just mind-blowingly talented as those who frequent our Lego. Most praise the design as an important inclusion with sets to improve the general user experience. Praise was dished out for the, quote, brilliant functional design, as one Redditor put it. For many who, like me, emerged from their Lego dark ages to find these a standard Lego part, they are a pleasant bonus. So let's take a closer look at the form and function of the brick separator. Surprisingly, an older version of the brick separator was included in sets since 1990, but it was kind of a rare inclusion. The old version only appeared in a total of 81 sets. I never received one while collecting my generous childhood collection in the 90s. In contrast, this orange fellow has been in circulation since 2012, less than half the time, and has been included in over 800 sets. The majority of them come in orange. While this is a common Lego color, it's not the primary color used in many builds, so it does stand out. A good choice for a part that you'll need to find quickly when you need it. Looking at the top side of the separator, there is the iconic square enclosed Lego logo type. Below this are some rounded ridges to give it a good grip. On the back side, we can see how Lego designed the part to withstand the forces that will be applied when removing bricks. Rigidity is achieved by molding the part with these sides to support it and adding these 3 triangular braces. Let's move on to the function. My Bricks YouTube channel provides an exhaustive list of techniques using this, but I'll just talk about a few. Look at the bottom. At the underside, you'll notice an important detail. See this rounded shape? This molds to exactly the shape of Lego studs. In contrast with a standard Lego block, it provides more surface contact, which is important as this side needs to stay firmly pressed against the studs when we do this. If it slips out, we don't get the leverage we need. The back side doesn't need this added power, so there is significantly less contact, or surface area, which is important as it allows for easy insertion and removal. We can use the top side to remove plates from the bottom of parts. Using 2 separators allows us to separate parts like 2 1x2 plates that can be quite pesky to remove from each other. We can remove pins and axles with this. And then the end of the handle is my favorite feature, one that wasn't included on the 1990s version, the glorious tile remover. If you've ever applied copious amounts of tiles to a plate and tried to remove them, especially if they are not on the edge, you'll feel my pain. It's now a relatively simple task to remove tiles with this. One final interesting point about the brick separator is that it is not included with every set. Thinking about this led me down a rabbit hole on Bricklink, which is a great site that catalogs all LEGO sets and their parts. So what are the criteria? It's been included in over 800 sets. Is it done by part counts? Complexity? Honestly, it's a bit hard to tell. There are sets with less than 100 pieces that include it, but the majority of sets that have it seem to have at least 300 or more pieces. I'd like to think that instead of an arbitrary line, LEGO chooses to include it or not based on the types of parts and the connections they make in the set. For example, in a set like this, the LEGO Ideas Maze, it has a lot of tiles, and it is painful, literally, to pry up all the tiles. The inclusion of the brick separator is an act of really considering a holistic user experience with the product, showing that LEGO is not always a one-time assembly experience. That building, taking apart, and creating new products is a core part of this user experience, and LEGO knows it. Until next time on Design of Things.